Okay, so today we're going to deep dive into something pretty important. You know how some students have a hard time in school, like they just can't seem to focus, or like every little thing is like a huge deal.
Hmm.
So we've got these notes about this student. Let's call him Jonathan.
Okay.
And he's dealing with anxiety at school. And so we're going to try to figure out, like, what's that like for him? And then, like, what can we maybe do?
Yeah.
You know?
Sounds good.
So, like, imagine, like, you're Jonathan sitting in class, right?
Mm.
But instead of, like, listening to the teacher, you're, like, totally overwhelmed with, like, worries and stuff.
Hmm.
Like, it's almost like you're trying to learn, but you're, like, drowning, you know?
Yeah.
Drowning in worry.
Yeah. I get that. That's a really vivid image. And actually, it's something that's way more common than people think.
Really?
Yeah. Anxiety in students.
Oh, wow.
It's like a silent epidemic sometimes.
So it's not just Jonathan, then. There could be other kids in his class go through the same thing, but, like, nobody knows.
Exactly. It's really important to remember that anybody who's struggling with anxiety is not alone. It's more common than you think.
Yeah, and I bet that's, like, really hard for them,
Yeah.
you know, to be dealing with that, and then also trying to keep up with school and everything.
Absolutely.
In the notes about Jonathan, it talks about how, like, mindfulness exercises could help. So what exactly is that?
Mindfulness.
Yeah, like, how does that work with anxiety?
So mindfulness is basically like paying attention to what's happening right now, like in this moment,
Okay.
not worrying about the future or dwelling on the past.
So for Jonathan,
Yeah.
like, in class.
Yeah, like when he's feeling anxious, he could try some breathing exercises.
Okay.
Just like a few deep, slow breaths.
Oh, yeah.
And that can like calm down your nervous system because when you're anxious, your body goes into like fight or flight mode, you
Right,
know?
like you're about to run away from a tiger or something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
even though there's no tiger.
Right. Yeah.
So the breathing exercises can help like slow everything down.
So it's like hitting the pause button on
Yeah,
all those,
yeah.
like, crazy thoughts and feelings.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
So are there other mindfulness things besides the breathing?
Oh, yeah, tons. So there's this one called grounding.
Grounding.
Yeah. And it's all about using your senses to connect with like the present moment.
Okay.
So like imagine Jonathan's feeling super overwhelmed, right?
Mhm.
He could try to name like 5 things he can see, 4 things he can hear, 3 things he can touch, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah. It's like shifting your focus
Yeah.
from your thoughts to your actual surroundings.
So it's like a way to anchor yourself
Right.
back to reality
Exactly.
when you're freaking out.
Yeah.
And he could probably do that without anyone even noticing,
Yep.
which is good. The notes also mention something about, like, getting professional help.
Yes.
So why would that be important? Like, if the mindfulness stuff works, why would he need more?
Well, mindfulness is great for like immediate relief, you know,
Mhm.
like in the moment when you're feeling anxious.
Okay.
But talking to a professional, like a school counselor or a therapist, can help Jonathan understand like the root causes of his anxiety.
So it's not just about, like, putting a Band-Aid on it,
Mhm.
but actually, like, figuring out what's going on.
Exactly. They can help him develop coping mechanisms
Okay.
and maybe even try things like cognitive behavioral therapy, which is,
What's that?
it's like a type of therapy that helps you change negative thought patterns.
Oh, that sounds useful.
Yeah, it's really effective for a lot of people.
And I bet it would be helpful for Jonathan to have someone he can talk to, you know, like a safe space to, like, process everything.
Absolutely. Having that support system can make a huge difference.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So it's like we've got these 2 main things for Jonathan, right? Mindfulness for, like, in-the-moment relief,
Mhm.
and then professional help for the long term.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and it makes me think, like, how can we apply this to, like, our own lives?
Yeah.
You know, like, what about the people we know who might be going through something similar?
That's such an important question.
Yeah, like, how can we be more supportive and understanding? Maybe even use some of these mindfulness techniques ourselves. It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was great being here.
It was really eye-opening for me.
Me too.